Welcome to the very heart of Africa, the legendary Serengeti. Here, life unfolds to an ancient rhythm, and today, we witness a remarkable tale of connection between man and beast, a testament to a loyalty that transcends the boundaries of species. The story of a man named Jack, and the lion he once saved. The Serengeti. The very name evokes a sense of boundless space and breathtaking grandeur. Stretching like an endless golden tapestry beneath the vast African sky, it is a land sculpted by time and teeming with life. As dawn breaks, the first rays of sunlight paint the tall grasses in hues of rose and gold, creating a scene of serene majesty. Millions of wildebeest embark on their epic migration, traversing rivers and plains in a spectacle of nature's relentless rhythm. By midday, a fierce heat shimmers across the landscape. Broad-crowned acacia trees offer precious shade to herds of elephants as they move with ponderous grace. The distant roar of a lion echoes through the air, a reminder of the wildness that reigns supreme. And as dusk descends, fiery sunsets silhouette the undulating hills and mark the return of creatures to their lairs after a day spent foraging. The Serengeti is not merely a sanctuary, it is a vibrant, pulsating world, brimming with color and untold wonders. Amidst this raw beauty, a dedicated man named Jack went about his daily work. For over half a century, the Serengeti had been his domain, its wildlife his charge. Each day began before sunrise, as he navigated the rugged tracks in his trusty jeep, patrolling the areas under his care. Jack's duty extended far beyond simply monitoring and protecting the animals from poachers. He observed their health, documented their behavior, and intervened when necessary, tending to the injured or reuniting the lost. Jack possessed an intimate knowledge of every corner of the Serengeti. He knew the prides of lions, the matriarchs of the elephant herds, and the favored haunts of the more elusive species. He was more than a ranger, he was a confidant, a silent guardian of this wild kingdom. Under the relentless African sun, often exceeding 113 degrees Fahrenheit, he persevered, driven by the understanding that the survival of these magnificent creatures depended on his unwavering commitment. 15 years prior, following a period of torrential rains that had saturated the Serengeti, Jack made a poignant discovery during his routine patrol in the western sector. Lying forlornly by the roadside was a tiny lion cub, barely a few weeks old. Its small body was emaciated, soaked, and trembling. A deep, bleeding wound marred its hind leg, preventing it from standing. Jack surmised that the cub had likely been separated from its mother during the storm, or had fallen victim to the jaws of another predator. The sight of the helpless, suffering creature tugged at his compassionate heart. He knew that without intervention, the tiny cub's chances of survival were negligible. With characteristic gentleness and the wisdom of experience, Jack carefully approached the whimpering cub. It offered only a weak protest as he cradled it in his arms. Removing his thick jacket, he tenderly wrapped it around the shivering body. He transported it back to the sanctuary's clinic in his old jeep, driving with the utmost care to avoid causing further distress. At the clinic, Jack dedicated himself to the cub's recovery. The wound on its leg was severe, showing signs of infection. He meticulously cleaned it, applied antiseptic, and bandaged it with practiced hands. He prepared warm milk, patiently feeding it drop by drop with a syringe. During those initial nights, sleep was a rare commodity for Jack as he vigilantly monitored the cub's fragile state, fearing the worst. Slowly, under Jack's unwavering care, the little lion began to show signs of life. It started to feed more readily, and the wounds gradually began to heal. Throughout this time, Jack would often speak to it in soft, reassuring tones, gently stroking its downy fur. A remarkable bond, a silent understanding, grew between the man and the wild creature. Jack named the cub Leo, a name that spoke of the strength and courage he hoped it would one day possess. As Leo grew stronger, able to eat and move independently, Jack built a special enclosure for him at the clinic, allowing him to exercise and gradually acclimatize to the natural environment. He knew that eventually, Leo would need to return to the wild, but the days spent nursing him had etched an indelible mark on Jack's heart. He had saved a life, and in return, he had received a unique companionship, a priceless trust from a creature of the Serengeti. Time, however, marches inexorably onward. Jack continued his tireless work, his dedication to the Serengeti unwavering. But the years of relentless toil under the harsh African conditions had begun to take their toll. One sweltering afternoon, whilst tracking the spoor of a rhino injured by poachers, a sudden, crushing pain gripped Jack's chest. He collapsed, his hand clutching at his heart. His breath came in ragged gasps, his face contorted in agony. Images of the Serengeti, of the animals he had devoted his life to protecting, flashed through his mind like a fading film reel. He tried to reach his radio to call for help, but his voice failed him. The young ranger accompanying Jack that day, a man named Ben, watched in horror as his mentor crumpled to the ground. Ben rushed to his side, cradling Jack and desperately trying to contact the sanctuary. Anxiety etched itself onto Ben's face as he witnessed the ashen pallor and weakening breaths of the man he revered as a father figure. The rescue vehicle sped across the rough terrain, shattering the afternoon's stillness. Back at the sanctuary, a worried silence descended as everyone prayed for Jack. He was a pillar of their community, a mentor, a trusted friend to all. At the hospital, the doctors fought valiantly, but Jack's heart, weary from years of devotion to the wild, finally gave way. He breathed his last amidst the profound sorrow of his loved ones and colleagues. News of Jack's passing spread like wildfire across the Serengeti, casting a pall of grief over the sanctuary and the surrounding villages. Fellow rangers carried out their duties with heavy hearts, their eyes reflecting an unspoken loss. The local communities, whom Jack had often assisted, mourned the loss of a true friend, a man always ready to lend a helping hand. Jack's departure left an irreplaceable void, a haunting silence in the familiar symphony of the Serengeti. The day of Jack's funeral dawned under a heavy, oppressive sky. Beneath the scorching African sun, friends, colleagues, and villagers gathered somberly near the sanctuary. Their faces bore the weight of profound sorrow for the man who had dedicated his life to safeguarding this land. Soft prayers mingled with the gentle rustling of leaves, a quiet lament for a life well lived. As the flower-draped coffin was lowered, tears streamed down sun-weathered cheeks. Heartfelt stories of Jack's kindness and unwavering dedication were whispered among the mourners, an attempt to preserve his memory. Suddenly, a subtle commotion at the edge of the gathering drew everyone's attention. From the distant, sun-baked scrubland, a majestic figure emerged. It was a fully grown male lion, its thick mane the color of burnished gold in the afternoon light. Its powerful and resolute gait caused a ripple of astonishment through the crowd. As the lion drew closer, a hushed murmur of recognition spread amongst the mourners. It was Leo, the very lion Jack had saved 15 years prior. It was as if an unseen force had guided him here, across the vast territories and perilous landscapes of the wild. Leo halted a respectful distance from the coffin, his amber eyes seemingly filled with a deep, unfathomable sadness. He gazed intently at the wooden casket, then slowly lowered his head, a gesture rarely, if ever, witnessed in a wild lion. It was not an act of fear or aggression, but a profound display of reverence, a silent and deeply moving tribute. In that timeless moment, the air crackled with emotion. Soaked handkerchiefs were pressed to tearful eyes. They understood that this was no mere coincidence. Leo remembered. He had sensed the loss. And he had come to pay his respects to the man who had given him a second chance at life. He stood motionless beside Jack's grave for a long while, a loyal companion bidding a final farewell. Then, with a soft sigh that seemed to carry the weight of the savannah, Leo raised his head, cast one last look at the assembled mourners, and slowly turned, disappearing back into the boundless plains, carrying with him a poignant tale of loyalty that transcended the boundaries of species. The story of Jack and Leo serves as a profound reminder of the extraordinary connections that can exist between humankind and the natural world. It illustrates how acts of kindness, no matter how small, can resonate across time and even bridge the seemingly unbridgeable gap between species. What are your thoughts on this remarkable story? Do you believe that animals possess deep emotions and the capacity for gratitude? Share your reflections in the comments below. If you have been moved by this tale of the Serengeti, and the extraordinary bond between a man and a lion. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories from the wild. Thank you for watching.